Here with Weppas, one of the behind-the-scenes most important parts of production. He is the observer. You guys get to watch him zoom around the map and show you everything. What's the most important part of observing?
I don't know, really. It's like most people say not missing kills. I wouldn't really agree on that. I would say more like telling the storyline, really like showing what's happening in the game, like what's gonna happen. Like if someone's close to a blink, show their goal, like showing the important things and like moving the storyline forward together with the casters. So like,
How much Dota do you like? Obviously, I don't know, how many observed games have you had under your belt? Have you kept track?
Not really. It's just kind of
gotta be
happens.
like,
well, say for example DreamHack. How many games? Like last season of DreamHack, we had maybe 190 games. So that's like one season of DreamHack, and I've done 4 seasons of DreamHack or Dream League, like the kickoff and then the 3 seasons and then TI qualifiers we did as well. We were splitting that up though, but it was still quite a few games. So I mean, I'm guessing it draws closer to like the 1,000 mark now at least.
Wow.
So quite a few.
And you get burned out?
Not really. I mean, I don't watch much Dota myself, like in the off time, unless it's like a super exciting game I want to watch. But I just don't like have a Dota stream up all the time. I play a lot myself instead, just to like try and get better.
Has watching made you like an analyst? Are you like really good at predicting stuff now?
I don't know. Sometimes, yeah. But it's also, talking to the players a lot. You get more of that. But I mean, in a sense, yeah, you get like what players prefer or like what teams prefer to pick, so you kind of can see what's about to come. And it gets you an understanding of what to look for in the game. Like certain teams like to do certain things. Like for example, Arteezy, when he plays Gyrocopter, once he hits level 6, he buys a smoke and TPs to another lane. Like if he's getting free farm, and then he ganks. And it's like very easy to look for things like that once you watch a lot of Dota. So.
And you yourself play a lot of Dota. So what's your MMR?
4.9k.
4.9. So you're on the grind.
Yeah.
I mean, have you been above 5?
Yeah, I was 5.4 over a year ago.
Oh.
And
No. What happened?
So basically TI qualifiers happened, and I played some, and then I just like kept on like a steady decline in MMR. I hit 4.6 again, which was what I calibrated at, and then I like slowly started grinding up again. But yeah. It's
You
been
enjoy
a
the
rough
solo
road.
queue life?
I mean, yeah, kinda, but it's it's a lot of fun playing 5 stacks. 2 or 3 stacks, it's like okay, but 5 stacks is a lot of fun. Solo queue is enjoyable now and then.
It's only for
now
the
and then.
MMR, right? That's all it is, yeah.
I mean, I play it a lot to just try and improve myself and get a better understanding of the game, but it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah. I mean, do you specialize in anything?
Lately it's been offlane, but now I just play whatever. Like, if I would have a position, it would probably be 4 support or hard carry. So it's kind of like switching between those two.
Okay. And give us your ranking for the commentators that do camera work.
I mean,
because you critique people, right? And
yeah, of course.
Observing's like there's only a couple observers, so you're probably
we're like 3 active ones pretty much.
And it's not like you don't actually, the scene doesn't really need that many more observers, so you guys are entrenched.
Yeah, not really. I mean, top 3. Yeah, it's so hard.
Well, just name a few that have good control. Then.
I would say I would put LD up there. I would also put Toby up there, and then probably Drasko. But other than that, I mean, Cap's pretty good as well. So like those are the 4s I would say. That's actually pretty good.
And some of them started out pretty bad.
Yeah, of course.
But it's like anything, you just practice, you get better.
I mean, I've been a caster myself. Like 2.5, 3 years ago, I was a caster, and I know it's really hard to like control the camera at the same time as you try and talk. So like, it's pretty impressive that they managed to do it so well. But that's why I think it's nice to have observers. It just makes them, look better. That's kind of what we do our job for.
And you are often paired with Scriff, and you guys either do different streams or you alternate games or series or anything like that. What would you say is the difference between your style and Scriff's style and say Pimp, the other observer?
I mean, me and Scriff are very consistent in the way we observe. Like, you can hardly notice a difference when you go from game to game with me and Scriff. It's like minor things, but it's hardly noticeable. Pimp's biggest difference to us is that he likes to be zoomed out a lot more than us. He likes to have the zoom out more like all the time, kind of, which gives a better overview of the game to an extent. I mean, we've done it so much zoomed in that we feel that for our way, it feels better for us. But there's nothing wrong with Pimp's way, and I mean, he does a really good job. So.
And what would you say is something that people don't notice about observing? That, because sometimes, you're watching, you don't actually actively notice what the observer's doing,
yeah.
But it's just like a feel thing. Like, wow, I feel like this observer's really good. Like, you don't know, and if you don't notice the observer, that's probably you're doing a good job, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the goal. You don't want to really be noticed. You just want to make the casters look good.
And what would you say is something that people don't notice, but you try to actively do when observing?
We've started more and more taking after what Pimp was doing with fog switching, just to show kind of what the players are seeing, but trying to do it to an extent that it's not too annoying, but it's still you cover things where it's like TP out, or you have a Shadow Fiend doing an ulti in Fog of War and stuff like that. Otherwise, it's just like try and catch as much as possible. It's nothing really special other than the casters try and do. Just try and make it more natural.
And when you're observing and you're trying to stay focused, and there's these games that just drag on forever.
Yeah.
What do you tell yourself? Do you ever have you ever fallen asleep almost?
I have, yes. During DreamHack games, maybe.
And what happened? The camera just like...
Yeah, I kind of yeah. I mean, most of the times it's like those super long games, but I've started to just stand up when I observe. When I have those really long games, I just stand up instead, because I know otherwise I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to almost fall asleep here. Like, I've almost nodded off, like, during DAC as well, when we were on a really crazy schedule. Like, I fly over to America to be on a Chinese schedule, which is, like, completely wrong.
Yeah.
So we were working, like, all night. We basically woke up, like, 6 p.m., started working, and then we're working until, like, 10 a.m. Those days were, like, you really just try to stay awake.
You get paid by hour, then. Is that the longest? Is that the longest you've had?
My longest day, I think, was 18 hours at a
18
DreamHack.
hours.
Yeah, that was the longest.
Laws against that?
I mean,
don't they have laws against that? You can't work that long.
That was like DreamHack Summer 2 years ago. And we had this crazy tiebreaker. It was like
I know what you're talking about.
When Fnatic got knocked out on time.
So okay.
And that was like an 18-hour day. And then we woke
up. How many
games
games was that?
I don't know. It was so.
Does it make you just like, I don't want to look at Dota ever again?
I mean, at the moment, yeah. But then I get home and I'm like, I just want to play Dota, I just want to fiend. I just want to play Dota. But yeah, like those long games. Now, lately, I've just started to just stand up when I'm served, because it keeps me awake. So.
And these days, it's a little tougher because there's techies now.
Yeah.
And techie is a hero that makes it tough on you guys, because you have no idea what's gonna happen. Like, oh, 3 people are dead. Like, where? Like, where did that happen? Right?
Yeah, I noticed that during one of the games. It's like Tekis gets 1 kill, and then suddenly another hero just dies on the other side. So, it's just look at the minimap a lot is what we do. We just try and keep track of the minimap as much as possible.
And do you think that Dota is a particularly difficult or easy game to observe? Different than like CS:GO or StarCraft or something like that.
I mean, I wouldn't say CS:GO or StarCraft is easier, but I think that once you've learned the game at a certain level, StarCraft is like definitely easier to do. But that's because like both at BC when he was observing and Funke when he's observing now, is like they're on such a high level in StarCraft that they understand that with the openings that people do, they know exactly what to look for. Whereas in Dota, it's like, yeah, you have 3 lanes, you have 10 different heroes. It's like looking at a hockey game and you have 10 different ice hockey pucks. And it's like, oh yeah, try and keep track of all this, and see what happens. So I would say it's definitely harder. CS, I think they use more observers for CS, or at least like an extra one.
And it's always mostly POV, right?
Yeah, exactly. So CS, I think, could also be tiny bit harder than StarCraft, but it's also very easy to understand where the action should be. So I would say like Dota is definitely the harder one, but I think that some of the other games are like harder to learn, at least StarCraft.
And are there particular players that you are unique?
In terms of watching and
Yeah.
like, not really. I mean, no, not really particular players, but it's sometimes it just happens that a player dies and he's not supposed to die. You have a matchup where like no one can actually die to each other, and then one guy kills the other, and you're like, well, wasn't expecting that. Just kind of looking at what should be interesting and not what's not supposed to happen.
So all these, it's interesting because we were talking about the competition between casters and getting hired for events and stuff.
Yeah.
You guys seem to have job security, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
There's no one that's like, everyone kind of, there's a consensus that you guys are the best observers, and
Yeah.
they just take you out to all these events. And do you ever think like, are you ever gonna quit? Like, how does it? Because you can basically do this for as long as you want, as long as Dota's going, pretty much.
I haven't really thought about quitting.
Mhm.
Like, I just want to try and get better and just improve, because I still feel like I'm so far away from being as good as I could be as an observer. Like, I think I can get a lot better, and I think both me, Scriff, and Pimpmako can get a lot better as observers and make it feel like even more natural. So I think we still have a lot of work to do, and until I feel like happy with really like we're doing such a good job now that it's like it's so amazing, then I'm probably gonna keep going until I get to that point at least. But for now, I mean, it's at least a few more years we're gonna keep going. So.
And it's fun.
I mean,
you get to do all these
it is.
events. Yeah.
We get to watch a lot of good Dota. So.
And this is the best time of the year to do it. And
For sure.
you have a nice setup here. It's actually not. They're not overworking you. It's a good amount.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay.
It's we got good rotation on one stream. I mean, it's unfortunate we can't cover all the streams, but even if we would be three guys doing it, it would still be very long days. I mean, it's like 10+ hours each if we would cover all the streams. So, I mean, it's a bit unfortunate we're not more, because like if we were 5 or 6 observers,
You got
in the
an intern.
scene,
Get an intern.
yeah.
I mean, you could train
if we were
someone.
like 5 or 6 observers in the scene, then yeah, we would be able to cover everything. But then it would be a lot more fighting for.
You know what you should do? You should make an observing studio, like they make the casting studios.
And just have observers.
Yeah, you can train them. You and Scriff can be like the founders, like Gods and LD were the founders of BTS.
Yeah.
Get your observers training school. Get a few interns in there, and then, well, maybe that's not a good idea because they'll replace you eventually. You don't want that, right?
I mean, it depends on how long we get to work before they
Yeah.
replace us.
Okay.
We can build bank before.
Yeah. You can be an agency for it. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking the time out. Do you have any last words?
Not really. Shout out to Val for bringing us. Really happy about that.
Okay. And you're guaranteeing no missed kills in the next Techies game. 0 missed kills. Everything on camera. The perfect game.
I'll try my best.
All right. Well, thanks.
No problem.